Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're outlining exactly how you can transition from simply learning to code to truly mastering it by becoming a creator. We're talking about a complete paradigm shift in how you build your tech career.
So, how do you actually stand out in the 2026 tech job market? Look, the landscape has changed dramatically. Simply grinding through tutorials or stacking up certificates, that's just not going to catch a recruiter's eye anymore. You need to prove you deeply understand the architecture behind the syntax. And honestly, the absolute fastest way to prove that? Showing your work out loud.
Here's how we're breaking down the complete developer lifecycle today. First, the 2026 roadmap. Second, building real projects. Third, core tech foundations. Fourth, the pivot, which is all about launching your channel. And finally, teaching to master programming.
All right, part 1, the 2026 roadmap and structuring your learning phase. Let's start with the absolute baseline requirements for a beginner aiming to get hired in 2026. The technical demands have evolved, and your study plan really needs to reflect that new reality.
What's really fascinating here is how AI tools are literally baked right into the standard 6 to 12-month curriculum now. Take a look at months 5 and 6. You aren't just learning basic web routing anymore. No, you're expected to understand concepts like retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, right alongside foundational containerization tools like Docker and Kubernetes. You'll definitely start with basic syntax like Python or JavaScript, but you've got to quickly graduate to integrating agentic AI systems if you want to stay competitive.
Moving into part 2, building real-world projects to escape tutorial hell. Once you've got that roadmap down, you have to transition into active building. Look, we all know the warmth and safety of tutorial hell, right? But passive watching ends here. Live projects are the ultimate proof of your skills.
Whether it's whipping up a real-time chat application using WebSockets or putting together a decentralized marketplace with Solidity, these intermediate to expert projects force you to actually connect the dots. Building an AI language platform with TensorFlow.js? That is not a paint-by-numbers exercise. It's a complex system that demands real, hands-on architectural problem-solving.
Which brings us to part 3, core tech, blockchain and beyond, grounding your projects in fundamentals. Because, let's be real, you can't build a decentralized marketplace if you don't even understand what a block actually is under the hood.
When we visualize raw study notes on blockchain, it's pretty cool. We see how blocks store 3 distinct things: transaction information, verification data, and unique cryptographic hashes. It breaks down perfectly. Instead of using your actual name, your purchase uses a digital signature, which is then locked by a unique code called a hash. That right there is the absolute bedrock of information security.
Those are the 3 massive pillars of blockchain technology that make decentralized marketplaces a reality. First, decentralization, meaning no single entity is pulling the strings. Then, transparency, which keeps the ledger open for inspection while cleverly hiding personal identities via cryptography. And finally, immutability. Powered by algorithms like SHA-256, this ensures that once data is entered, there's absolutely no going back. It can never be altered.
But beyond blockchain, we also really need to understand the advanced environments where our code is going to live. Think about autonomic systems that can actually self-heal and self-optimize. Crazy, right? As developers, mastering how our code interacts with hybrid cloud models or cutting-edge hardware is honestly just as crucial as writing the code itself.
Take this definition, for example. A traditional computer bit is simply a 1 or a 0. But thanks to the wild mechanics of quantum physics, a qubit exists in a superposition of both at the exact same time. Getting a grip on the deep theory behind these future tools gives you a massive advantage in system design interviews and totally future-proofs your skill set.
All right, part 4, the pivot. Launching your tech channel, shifting from consumer to creator. Now, this is the crucial point. The ultimate career hack to stand out to employers isn't just building projects, it's actually teaching the rest of the world how to build them.
Creating content completely rewires your brain. The passive learner has this false sense of security, right? They just nod along to an endless 10-hour tutorial and think, oh yeah, I got this. But the active creator, they actually have to build the application, script the logic, and record the whole process. That friction, that struggle, is exactly what transforms you into a total authority in the eyes of hiring managers.
Now, to start your channel, you really don't need a massive Hollywood studio. But you absolutely must prioritize audio quality. Invest in a solid USB mic, something like a Blue Yeti, and just use free software like OBS. Oh, and here is a super vital tip. Zoom in to make your code huge. Seriously, almost 1/3 of your viewers are going to be watching on their mobile phones. If they can't read your syntax, they're gone in seconds.
You can also save yourself hours of painful editing by streamlining your workflow. Let AI do the heavy lifting for you. Tools like Filmora have silence detection to instantly cut out all that dead air. Better yet, record your screen and your live coding first, and then overdub your scripted audio later. It makes you sound incredibly fluent and keeps the pacing super tight.
Which leads us to part 5, teaching to master programming, and the pedagogy of tech videos. To truly provide value on your channel, you need a structured teaching methodology. You aren't just reading code aloud, you're guiding someone through a logical journey.
Let's look at a teaching strategy for a complex topic like linked lists in C++. Instead of starting with dry syntax, use a digital treasure hunt analogy. Tell your viewers that normal arrays are basically like fixed shelves. If the shelf is full, moving every single book just to add one more right in the middle is a total nightmare. But a linked list? It's like a treasure hunt. You start at the first clue, which gives you the cargo, that's your data, and a map to the next destination. When you live code, don't just say type struct node. Say, we're creating a custom drawer. And when you type that little asterisk for the pointer, tell them that star is literally just an arrow pointing to a secret location in the computer's brain.
And here is a golden rule. Handle your errors live. Seriously, don't edit out all your mistakes. Watching you debug is incredibly valuable for building a beginner's intuition. Returning to our linked list example, intentionally create a broken chain error. Delete the link between the second and third node by setting the pointer to null, and just run it. When it breaks early, explain to them that you lost the map. Showing this live builds the exact debugging mindset your viewers need to handle memory-related errors in high-performance C++ systems.
As the curriculum points out so perfectly, you cannot learn to swim by reading a book. Getting your hands dirty with the code, making those intentional errors, and explaining the fixes out loud, that is exactly how you build true, lasting muscle memory.
When you commit to teaching a concept on YouTube, you force yourself to deeply understand the why, effectively eliminating any gaps in your own knowledge. You can't fake it when an audience is watching you explain how a cryptographic hash secures a block, or how a pointer navigates memory space. Teaching is hands down the ultimate test of comprehension.
All right, wrapping things up with our conclusion. The ultimate developer lifecycle. Learn, build, teach. By following this roadmap, learning the fundamentals, building complex projects, and then cementing your knowledge by teaching it to others, you make yourself undeniably hireable. You transform from just another standard applicant into a recognized authority.
So, the camera's rolling, the mic is hot. You know the roadmap, so the only thing left to do is execute. What is that one coding concept you've been absolutely terrified of? Figure it out, hit record, and teach it to the rest of us. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really can't wait to see what you build.